An effort like rLoop is based on a team. And a team doesn't just come together, which is why I'm speaking with Dante Bertana, who's going to explain how rLoop came to be. Dante, again, rLoop is a different kind of organization. It has a leader, but no one's getting paid, everyone's a volunteer, and everyone brings the skills that they have. Tell me a little bit about that. Why did you decide to form this open source nonprofit organization?
You know, at the beginning, it was the only way we could have operated. We needed expertise, and expertise lives all around the world. It's not just in the Bay Area. It's not just in California, United States. People around the world needed to be able to contribute and help build the project. So that's kind of how we got into that mode. It was mostly out of necessity. Thanks to amazing tools like Slack and, of course, Google Hangouts and all sorts of collaboration tools, we're able to keep everybody on the same page, keep everybody up to speed. One of the other things is because it is volunteer, not everybody who would be perfect for the job can volunteer. So there's some times where you might have 100 experts, but all of them have 80-hour-a-week jobs. So you need to be able to pull talent from where it comes from.
As a true global organization, really one that pulls talent from every time zone, every part of the planet, isn't it difficult for you to stay on time, on schedule? I mean, because ultimately it is a competition. You do have a deadline. You do have to get a product onto the track. Doesn't this make scheduling difficult?
It definitely does. One thing that I think is very unique to us is that companies pool talent. We're kind of amassing talent. People are coming to us. We're not reaching from them. So the motivation's a lot different. It's not for a paycheck. It's for lack of a better term, changing the world, for lack of a better trope to use. So it's more something that people want to come to. It's not so much of a job for people. It's their weekend project. It's what they do to get away from their day job. So people's motivations, people are very internally motivated here, and you're able to not have to really worry about deadlines and such, because everybody is so focused on getting things done that there's really no reason not to throw your heart into it.
It's not a job, it's a passion. And whenever you can get people together for a passion rather than a paycheck, something magical happens. Now, let's talk a little bit about that magical, because I heard an interesting story this morning as we were touring the halls, and that was about an Uber driver who joined the rLoop team. How did that come about?
So that was a very interesting story, probably my favorite story about rLoop so far. What happened was one of our team members was coming from San Francisco, came down here, took an Uber, and he's going down there, making conversation, and the Uber driver's like, hey, what are you going to this business parkway for on a Sunday? You work on Sundays? Like, oh, no, we're doing this thing, rLoop, and the driver was interested. He's asking more questions. Turns out that, at the time, we were having a pretty big issue with our battery system, and we're trying to find the right expertise to get the batteries done properly. So anyway, back to the driver. So he's driving down, and they're talking. Turns out that the Uber driver actually just retired from Tesla as a battery engineer, and he was driving Uber just to stay busy, in his retirement. So he was super thrilled with the project. He didn't know it was even local. So he knew of rLoop and was following the story, but he didn't know that it was in his backyard. So that day he just signed out of Uber and came inside with our team member that he was driving, and he's been here ever since.
Dante, I want to switch gears really quickly and talk a little bit about the facility that we find ourselves in right now. All of the other entries have a lot of money behind them. They've got corporate sponsorship, they've got university money, they've got staff and professors who are pretty much experts in everything that they might need. Again, since rLoop is more of a come-as-you-are organization, it's always been difficult to do machining. It's always difficult to find a way to create the pieces and parts that you need. Thankfully, you had TE, who had this wonderful workspace. They invited you in, and they've given you access to all this machinery. How much has that been a key in your effort?
It's been absolutely key. We lucked out with TE. They have, as you can see, tons of equipment around us, lots of crazy expensive machines that we would never have access to. We could have always gone the makerspace route, which was our primary option. That was what we planned on doing and getting a warehouse space. But TE was nice enough to let us come here, use their machines, and give us some of their experts as well. So there are some people from TE who, out of their own fruition, came down and help out.
Dante, thank you very much for speaking with us. Thank you for sharing the story of rLoop. It is always nice to see an organization that has really become sort of the Burning Man of the Hyperloop competition. And we'll get back to the rLoop offices and the technology that they're creating to build the next generation of public transportation.